And New Zealand is choice, bro. Hello and welcome to episode 101 of the Laser Couch podcast. We're here to give you all you need to know about technology, the future, and all of your gaming needs. My name is Jeff Kim, and did I do that?
My name is Calvin Lee, and happy Facebook anniversary, Jeff.
What?
Yeah, according to Facebook, we've been friends for 7 years.
7 years?
Yeah.
That's like one more than 6 years. Is that all? Really? 7 years?
I don't know, but you know how it is, right? I think we may have been Facebook friends a while after we actually met. I don't know.
How come I didn't get that? Maybe I haven't been friends with you for 7 years. But
Did you unfriend me?
Hang on, 7 years doesn't make sense, does it? Okay, anyway, we can take that offline.
Yeah.
Talking about seven years, what about the last 7 days of all the amazing action that's happening on Optus Sport?
Well, or lack thereof.
Yes, well, I think it's been happening, but no one's been able to catch it somehow.
So I think on my way home today, I was listening to the radio. So they're saying it's now with SBS for the rest of the month?
Until 31st of August, was it?
Really? So all the
Yeah.
way?
Well, I think officially till the group stages.
Okay.
So that can't be, maybe it's end of July then, maybe.
End of June, I think.
Oh, yeah, of course.
July? June?
No, we're
Yeah.
at the end of June.
Yeah.
What year is this?
2027. It's funny because they knew this was coming. You know what I mean? This is like Census all over again, right? You had one job, and that was to give everyone the World Cup.
I wonder, I mean, like, we work with a bunch of engineers and network people
Yeah.
to a degree, and because Optus Sport had Premier League rights for a while, they thought, well, is the World Cup really going to be more popular than Premier League? Not a good way to think there, I don't think.
Yeah, which is the most surprising bit, right? Because they have the EPL and everything, so it boggles the mind.
Yes. Well, let's kick off the show, Kelvin. I'm going to kick off with some feedback because last week, well, about 10 days ago, when episode 100 came out. By the way, just at the intro there, I think I stumbled a little bit when I said episode 101.
Yeah.
It feels like a really long way to say that number. It's weird. Okay. Anyway, our good friend Maynard.
Yes.
From Channel Maynard.
Yeah.
No, he's got a bunch of podcasts which I can't think of right now. But he's congratulated us. On 100 episodes. Yeah.
So that's no. I mean, when did we listen to Maynard talk at the podcast meetup? I think this is like in the first maybe 20, 30 episodes.
Was it even before we officially recorded?
Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah, I think we were in our beta episodes.
Wow, that's something. So he stuck around for the longest time. So a big thank you.
Yes, he tweeted us to say congrats to my favorite nerds in brackets when they aren't talking sport. So just disregard the last couple of minutes there, Maynard. Tune into at the Laser Couch for tech talk as tight as your pants.
Yeah. So that's I know it's there isn't any better feedback than that.
Well, depending on his audience, some people might be wearing their pants quite loosely, so it could be as loose as your pants, maybe. I don't know. So thanks for that. Thanks for the shout out. Always very appreciated. But tonight, we're gonna be talking about gaming.
Yeah.
And the gaming industry. So in the last week or so, there's been lots of stuff about a conference called E3. It happens in LA every year. It's been going on for, I did read a little bit about this. I'm probably going to get a little bit of the details wrong, but it's been going for about 30 years. It started out by, a couple of the game studios going to all these conferences and not really getting taken seriously. So they decided to come up with their own conference just for the industry. So that's the genesis of the conference. Did you know that?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, so it's been going on for 3 decades. Nowadays it's very polished. All these big studios spend millions of dollars for these presentations. We're talking the big platforms like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, as well as publishers like
Ubisoft, I mean
Ubisoft.
Bethesda,
Yeah,
all the big guns.
that's right. Yeah. So even before the actual conference and the show floor starts, they have big showcases, big conferences with lots of media attention. So let's start with Microsoft.
Yeah, let's hit it.
Yeah. Anyway, so just to set it up, I've got a clip here. People think that Microsoft was one of the better showcases this week. This is some of the, I don't know, the VIPs that were there, and IGN spoke to them.
Phil Spencer came out swinging today and said, we acquired not one, but 4 studios. And on top of that, they started the initiative. I mean, that's huge.
I know, it was an amazing press conference. I'm so excited for so many of these games.
Xbox did really well with all the acquisitions. We saw Halo, we saw Gears.
So we knew that we were going to get a Halo announcement of some kind. I pegged it as a teaser, which clearly it was, Halo Infinite.
It's old school looking. It reminded me, I immediately knew what I was looking at. It looked like old school Halo, second mission on the first Halo 1. New engine probably means new movement, probably means a different feel. I think they're going to give us a throwback.
Oh god, I wish we had a clip for a nerd.
Yeah.
Did you hear that guy? He was like, "Oh yeah, as soon as I saw it, it reminded me of Halo 2, the second level, blah blah blah."
I mean, he probably lived in Hay during his high school years.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much good reaction from most of the crowd there. What stood out for you there?
It's funny. I think I've never been a big Halo fan, only because it was on the Xbox and I was more of a PC guy. But it's its anchor game. You know what I mean? With Microsoft, it's champion game. It takes the lead every time Microsoft has an announcement. So if the fans are happy, that it's job well done for Microsoft.
Yeah, I guess the general view is that the current generation of consoles like Xbox One and the other one, PlayStation 4, Sony's definitely leading the race there with all the exclusives. A lot of the true gamers are definitely on Sony these days. I think Halo, when that came out, was on the 360, right? And I think probably more of an even kill back in the last generation. I think the general consensus is that Microsoft is sort of coming back up. They've announced that they've acquired a bunch of indie studios. Just to bolster their lineup a little bit. You could imagine that they're going to turn out to be exclusive games for maybe the next generation of consoles, Xbox 2. No idea what they're going to call it, but I think what else did I like? I like Forza Horizon 4, which is it's an annual thing, so there's no surprises there. This one is open world in Britain.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last one was in Australia, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
The Division 2, they showed a little bit off there. A lot of our friends were very excited about that one.
I think the biggest win about Fallout 76 is it's finally multiplayer. All the previous Fallouts have always been just single player, huge maps, but now you get to co-op up to 4 players, which is pretty exciting.
Yes. There was part of the Xbox as well, right? While we're on the subject, I've got a bit of a clip for Fallout 76. Shall we hear it?
Let's go.
Okay.
Fallout 76 is online only. The NPCs that you run into, most of them are other people. Yeah, it'll be smaller instances, dozens of other people in your game world rather than hundreds of thousands. So a little bit like Destiny or something. Like you're kind of plopped into a world and you have a contained...
Right, so that was actually the guys from Engadget. I've got their names here. Jessica Condit and Matt Smith. They're sort of the senior editors of Engadget. I think I might have pressed the stop button a bit too prematurely, but basically that they were a little bit confused about how the mechanics was going to work because, like you said, it was a multiplayer, but it didn't seem too different from Fallout 4.
Yeah, and I think it's a bit of a pity because games like Skyrim and Fallout are these huge open world games, which, you don't have to interact with anyone if you really hate, I don't know, people. So NPC, meaning non-playable characters, are just automatically generated characters by the game. So they don't scream at you, they don't yell profanities at you, they just do whatever role they've been given in the game. And with Fallout 76 now being online only,
Mhm.
You're going to have to interact with people. They're jumping on the bandwagon of other games like, PUBG and Fortnite. I know it's a bit of a very different quite comparison, but it's all about getting everyone online into this universe and no longer about having that really isolated single player experience.
Which gets away from Bethesda's, true sense of, being immersed in that world, right? So yeah, it'll be interesting how that goes. I do have Fallout 4 on the Xbox One, but I'd probably have played it about 2 hours after it got a little bit too hard for me. So I tend to give up games too easily these days. I'm going to try to get back into it. Actually, I started playing Battlefront Star Wars again.
Really?
The campaign mode, which I'm quite enjoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think if you're in love with Fallout 4 and Skyrim, you're probably going to like 76 if you've got a couple of friends. But we'll see when the game comes out.
Yeah, so on a similar topic, one of the big draw cards of the Microsoft showcase this year was their well, it's not by them, but they showcased Cyberpunk 2077. Just a quick cinematic trailer. They did, it's by the studio CD Projekt Red, I believe. They've done with the Witcher series.
Yep.
Amazing, reception for those games.
Yeah, I think it was Game of the Year last year.
Yeah, I think I might have to play that later. Now, this is an ultra-violent, futuristic sci-fi sort of world, in 2077. And there's a bit of a problem in Australia anyway, because of the crazy or the antiquated certification laws, or how the classification board, they refuse to rate the games, which basically means they are banned effectively in Australia.
Yeah, which is really sad.
Yeah, so I was listening to Vertical Hold podcast earlier in the week, and Fairfax's Tim Biggs was on the show just to explain some of this.
Everyone who's seen that game and the demo behind closed doors is worried that game's going to get refused classification in Australia. But we've all been talking about We Happy Few because Microsoft bought the studio that made that game, and that's not coming out in Australia because it has drugs in it that have gameplay benefits, and it's a big no-no in Australia when you're releasing games. And Cyberpunk has a lot of drugs, and they definitely have gameplay benefits.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is that the board, they look at the actual gameplay and the mechanics of the gameplay, and if there's a mechanic where you heal yourself with some drug use, they'll automatically just refuse to rate the game.
I'm guessing it's not a hard change to make to replace the drugs with either candy, or Tim Tams. They want to make a joke out of it. But
just for Australia?
Just for Australia, like Tim Tams. Have some Tim Tams. Your life goes back to 100. But on the flip side, if that's all it takes to circumvent our silly ratings board, then it's a bit of a farce, right? It's a bit of a joke. If I replace something with something and make a joke out of it, and that passes the certification, it just shows how these ratings don't really help. I mean, we rate movies with R for violence and sex scenes and things like that, but we can't do the same for games.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't think these big AAA studios are actually doing that just for Australia. They won't. I mean, We Happy Few is a game that he just mentioned, that was also showcased at Microsoft, and the one of the companies that built that were acquired by Microsoft, right? And they're not doing anything about it. Their mechanic is actually, well, the whole game is based on glorifying drug use.
Exactly.
So actually, the publisher has said that it's not to glorify, but I think it's sort of but banning games is one thing, but you can these days get around it fairly easily as well. Yeah, so like, what's the point really? That's the main question, I think.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's similar to how everyone used to pirate music and games before the likes of Netflix and iTunes. It will sort of change, and we're gonna have to modernize and just get with the times.
Yeah, I know, like a lot of my friends in the past, or maybe still, they might go to Thailand or go through Thailand for a trip and come back with a whole bunch of pirated stuff. Like, is there do they have a bit of a flutter when they go through security? Like, will they get will they just get confiscated, or is it like can it lead to arrest?
Yeah,
or
who knows? I think it's going to be a bit harder now for two reasons. One, who still has a DVD player in the computers, right? And two, they can region lock these games if it has to sort of have an online connection. So it just makes everything more difficult. And I'm sure people can find a way around it by hacking the application files and things like that. But it's unnecessary. It really is.
Yeah, because it doesn't achieve what it sets out to do, and it's all it does is make Australia look like a laughingstock and just a bit behind the times.
Yeah, I mean, rate it properly. Still protect the kids, but let adults decide what's right for them.
Yeah. Now, I think one of the biggest news was the 4 studios that they acquired. Let me know if you know some of these studios and the games that they created in the past. So Ninja Theory is one of them. They created Hellblade.
Nope.
No ding there. Playground Games did Forza.
Yep,
well, there you go.
We know that one.
We know that one, and I mean, they were almost working for Microsoft in the past anyway.
Exactly.
Undead Labs, they did State of Decay, which is meant to be a pretty great game. Also Compulsion Games, and they just did We Happy Few. So yeah, I think lots to look forward to for Microsoft going forward.
Yeah, I mean those are I think those are going to be exclusives for Microsoft in the coming years. And I think that's always been the way. As we talk about Sony later in the show, it's all about exclusives. It's all about getting all the rights to all these great games, and it looks like Microsoft is making a big play.
Also, they did set up a new studio on top of that called The Initiative, and they got someone from Activision and Crystal Dynamics who headed up Tomb Raider.
Oh, nice.
The reboot of it.
New one.
His name is Daryl Gallagher is his name, and he's going to set that up. He's going to set it up in Santa Monica, which apparently people are saying, well, that's interesting because that's where Sony have their studio and they created God of War from there. So yeah, I think that they're going head to head here. Microsoft realizes they're almost conceding that yes, this generation it's over. That probably happened a long time ago. They conceded that, but yeah, hopefully they're talking about what's coming up. They've bought a bunch of studios. They're setting themselves up for the future.
No, looking forward to it.
We might move on to Sony then. Good segue. Spider-Man is probably the biggest highlight there.
Yeah, I think it's starting to look a lot like the Batman games, which everyone loves. It's a bit of a beat 'em up type 3D world, open world game, and it looks great. I think a lot of these comic book movies, games based on these comic book movies tend to sort of tank because it's like oh my god, the movie's coming. We need something to sort of jump on that bandwagon and sell a couple of games. But this one looks a lot better. It looks polished. Apparently, the game controls are amazing. It looks fun.
Yeah, and they did tease a little bit of the Sinister Six right at the end there, which is cool. You can't name the Sinister Six, can you?
Doctor
challenge.
Octopus, Vulture.
Oh yeah,
Rhino, dude. I'm done.
Is there a crocodile? No. Yes. So
wait, the lizard.
Yeah. The other games that were showcased, The Last of Us 2. It's Death Stranding. Whoa.
Yeah, I think that one deserves a little bit of a chat. But just back to Last of Us 2, I think I don't have a PS4, but it's probably the game that will make me want to buy a PS4. Just with The Last of Us 1, the expansion, and this second game, watching the trailer, it's one of those games that have so much realism, even though it is about zombies. There's a lot of emotion built into it. You can relate to the people. Even just watching the trailers, it's like watching a mini TV show.
Well, speaking of realism, did you hear about this showcase? Because I guess the people that were there, I guess there were a couple of thousand people. They were ushered into this darkly lit room, and the president of Sony, his name is Sean Layden, he said this as he welcomed people in.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. And thank you for making the time tonight to come to church.
Right, so it was actually set up as like a church, which is a scene in the game.
The
game, and just to get that mood going. I actually got another kind of fun story about this conference because a good friend of mine who just moved to San Francisco, and it was her first day at her job.
Yeah, I hate my
And guess
life
what
now. I
happened?
know what you're talking about.
At this. This is literally the day one of her job.
Yeah.
She was flying to LA, taken to this church. It was the very first thing she did. And yes, she works for Sony now, but yes, that's incredible, isn't it?
I wish my day one was like that. I know.
I was texting her early in the day, and because for some reason I thought it was in Las Vegas, this event, and she said, "Oh no, she's going to LA." So I thought, okay, well, I thought maybe she was going to E3, but anyway, it all worked out that she was going exactly to E3.
I know. It's because I know it through you, and I follow her on Facebook, and all of a sudden these very detailed pictures of all the different stands and all the games start coming up, and I'm like, I didn't know she was a gamer.
Which is not.
I know exactly. That's why I was surprised. And then the LinkedIn came up and everything, and then you're like, oh,
Yeah, there you go. Oh wait,
oh.
gotta be faster on the trigger there.
Okay, come on. That was a practice run. Let's go.
All right. Should we talk about Death Stranding?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
I don't.
Do you have any clips on this? 'Cause
No,
I've got a-
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to clip, right?
Well, how about some reactions? I got some reactions of the people that were there. Saw the I think 40-minute playthrough of
Yeah.
the game. This is what they're saying. There's a bit of a kicker at the end as well.
I have no clue. You're asking me to explain just like such an abstract. There's babies, there's baby-powered machines. I have no idea.
I want to think it's like some sort of post-apocalyptic world where there's like certain parasites that kind of take over the human psyche. That's got to be some outworldly stuff, man. I have no idea what to expect from the creatures they showed in Death Stranding. The big, giant, shadowy, ghostly figures. It's so hard to tell at this point, but I think that's the best part about it, keeping us hanging just a little bit.
It's Kojima Unleashed. Yes. For sure.
It's Kojima, It's probably going to be a monkey in a diaper at some point.
Monkey in a diaper.
A show title. It's Hideo Kojima, right? So, I mean, can you imagine being Sony and Hideo comes up to you and goes, "I have an idea for a game. Check this out."
You wear a
What do you
spacesuit.
say to that?
Well, like, you got to describe a little bit, right? So, the
I
main
do.
character, he's a mailman. He's got to deliver stuff.
He's Dara from Walk of the Dead.
Yeah, Needus? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't watch the show, but it's definitely recognizable even if you don't watch the show. He's wearing some sort of spacesuit, apocalyptic deserted world. There's a thing at the front of his body where it looks like you're doing things powered by a baby.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't have explained it any better.
There you go.
And then in the game, there's rain that if you touch, it forwards time.
I think it's the monsters in the rain. Yes.
Right, because there was a scene where the rain was touching the ground. And flowers started appearing. So it's something to do with the rain as well. And the babies are some sort of power source or some sort of boost. And then there's these shadowy figures that you have to avoid, and a little antenna comes up so you can see them because they're not actually there. Whoa.
Yeah, looks really really cool. I mean, I think this is the reason why I would get a PS4 actually.
Yeah, I think Sony games just do a better job of telling a story. It's not so much about gameplay. I think the games like the FIFAs of the world and all that are fine on either console, but when it comes to the real thoughtful storylines and plot lines and mind-blowing out there concepts, Sony is just way ahead right now.
For now. Because we're both, rooting for Microsoft, aren't we? I don't know. Are we?
Yeah, pretty
We're not
much.
getting paid by them enough.
No.
Yeah, so that's Sony. So that's, two major big platforms, industry players that sort of wowed the crowd with these amazing titles and trailers. The next one is Nintendo. Their big thing was Fortnite coming to Switch. Now, we've got to talk a little bit about the Switch because we both didn't get one. I'm kind of kicking myself. I guess it's not too late to get one, but I didn't get involved with that whole, like everyone was just like immersed with it. There were people who bought them weren't seen for a month or so, playing Zelda probably.
Yeah.
I missed out on all that. And Fortnite's not something I'm going to play, but there's a lot of good things happening with the Switch.
And you know what? I'm kind of glad we did it, only because it had Zelda. Really, when you think about it, and that was it.
It was the game of the year.
People played that on the. No, definitely. I think people played that on the trains. People were playing that on the buses because it probably is the only portable gaming device you can get that you can hook up to your big screen TV. So it does have its draw card, but I think now we're starting to see more games come out.
Yeah. So, yes. So, speaking of which, Fortnite was one of those things that's being ported over to the Switch. So, that happened and immediately was available. So, people downloaded this thing. Now, once that happened, a subset of those people quickly found out there was something wrong with this because those that were playing Fortnite on their PlayStations couldn't, use their profile on the Switch. So, crossplay was not happening.
What?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of Fortnite.
Kind of is, but also Sony hasn't been playing ball with in that respect for a while. I've got a clip from the guys at the Vergecast and just talking about that for a second.
Sony is not allowing. It's actually worse than this. It's not just they're not allowing.
Let me just give you the rundown.
Yeah.
So they announced, all right, Fortnite's available on the Switch. Go get it at 10 p.m. Pacific. Everyone's like, hooray. And they go and they download it. And then they start it up. And if you have ever, even once, played Fortnite on a PS4, you cannot log into that account on your Switch. You've been locked out. You can do crossplay across PC and Xbox and Switch and mobile and all that's fine. But Sony specifically seems to be blocking crossplay with the Switch.
Yeah, so the crazy thing here is that Xbox... the PlayStation crossplay didn't happen with Xbox users, but just because not many people have both consoles, it just wasn't really noticed by anyone. It just goes to show that, if you have a Switch, you're probably more likely to have a PlayStation than an Xbox. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I've got one word for Sony.
Douchebag. Douchebags.
So let me get this right. I've got a PlayStation 4, I've got a Switch. If I logged into my Fortnite account on my PlayStation, it won't allow me to log in on my Switch.
That's right. But you can, on your phone, on your iPhone and Android, you can, because they don't see them as competitors. But
how is Fortnite allowing this? Because they have to send this, this signal back to Fortnite to say...
Yeah. I believe they do it through the PlayStation side, in the PSN, I think.
But it's just like then the Switch, when you log into your Fortnite account, on your Switch, it knows that you also have a PS4.
Yeah,
somehow?
I mean there's a little bit of confusion on the technicalities of how they're doing it, but Fortnite, who are the developers? That doesn't come to me right now, but they did make a bit of a big deal out of this. The error message that they had on the screen was like, go talk to Sony or something like that, like really flippant sort of message.
You know what I think it might be? I think when you buy things on the PS Store, it probably is like an Apple Store where the rights belong to Sony because they were the first point of sale, and they have say over how they want to share that information. Maybe, who knows? But it sounds like a really, really nasty move.
Yeah, I'll clip the article from Polygon, which breaks it down in quite some detail. There's lots of factors here. No one is quite sure how they're doing it, but it's happening.
Yeah.
Just on Fortnite though, it's a bit of a phenomenon. We've mentioned it already a couple of times already this year. Now they're getting into esports. So based on they must have millions of people already. They're going to provide $100 million in its first year of esports prize money across the next 2 years. That is actually. But if you compare that to the last year, where the top 11 games spent $75 million in 2017, in one big prize money pool, they're going to overtake that with one game.
It's nuts. So for those of you who don't know what Fortnite is, I actually have a clip.
Do it.
So let me just get to that. I think the most confusing thing about Fortnite is it is a free-to-play game. So how did they make money? Let's find out.
Fortnite. It's free to play, but here's how it's on pace to make $3.5 billion. For those who don't know, it's a mega popular video game with millions of addicted players. But unlike other popular online games like Call of Duty, you can download it for free and you're ready to go. A recent estimate by data research firm Superdata estimates that the game pulled in $296 million in revenue in April. Multiply that by 12 and you're looking at an estimated $3.5 billion in annual revenue. So how's this game making money? People are shelling out real cash on V-Bucks, which is Fortnite's in-game currency. V-Bucks lets you buy cosmetic items for your in-game character. It would also let you buy the Battle Pass, which is a way to unlock in-game rewards.
So yeah, I think that's a quick sort of summary in terms of how they make money. So you're not buying anything to pay to win. So nothing makes you, the guns don't, do more damage. Your armor doesn't take more heat. It's just cosmetic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just cosmetic. So it's similar to Dota. It's similar to PUBG, where everything you buy is cosmetic. And that is netting it $300 million a month. So yeah, quick shout out to CNBC for that video. They're doing some really nice videos there just to explain these things.
What I didn't realize until just this week was that Fortnite, when it came out, probably earlier this year, I think even, they didn't have a Battle Royale mode. Did you know this?
Yes. So the main part of the game is actually in alpha, which is a 4-person co-op game. And the Battle Royale bit was sort of like hey, if you pay up front, you can play this little thing on the side.
They just saw what was happening with PUBG, and they started to tack it on.
Yeah,
incredible. 3.5 billion.
That's
unbelievable.
That's what you do.
That's what you do. Okay, so that was all part of the Nintendo showcase. So we're getting to the publishers now. We'll just go through one by one. Probably the biggest one out of them. Oh, it's debatable, but let's start with Bethesda. So we talked about Fallout 76 already. Rage 2. I don't know too much about that one.
I believe Rage 1 was about driving cars and maximum destruction type of game where you just run into different players and things like that. I hope I got that right.
I think you're right. The interesting part of that, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to clip this, but they had Andrew WK, who's an artist that had that song a few years ago called Let's Party Hard or something. He was on stage to intro that trailer.
Yeah.
Doom Eternal. So this is the next version of Doom coming out. Also Wolfenstein co-op mode. And possibly for the next generation consoles, Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to look this up. But when was Elder Scrolls 5? Give me a second. Elder Scrolls have been around since we were kids, right? So
the 80s.
So let's see. Elder Scrolls 2 was in 96. Elder Scrolls 5 was 2011. So which is Skyrim, obviously. So it's been a 7-year wait for Skyrim fans.
It's probably another 2 years because they didn't show much, but they just showed the title sequence.
That was it.
That was it. Just a little teaser, just for
that's a tease.
The geeks out there. The other tease was Starfield. Now, this seems like it's a star-based or space game, space-based game. Obviously, they didn't show much of the gameplay at all. Also, this is another couple of years away, but I think Bethesda doing space kind of sounds intriguing to me. I'm hoping a better version of that other game that I downloaded and didn't play.
That has finally been given a multiplayer mode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Maybe I'll get into it.
What is it called?
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Yes, No Man's Sky.
I still got the icon on the desktop. There you go. That's all I got from Bethesda, actually. Ubisoft. I think Ubisoft was a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, I mean they've got a lot of big franchises like Assassin's Creed and Beyond Good and Evil and The Division. So yeah, there was a lot of good announcements.
Yeah, and they're very French. Did you know this?
Yeah, very.
They have a very eccentric founder and president, Yves Guillemot. Do you want to hear him? He's quite interesting.
Let's see what Yves is about.
Actually, there's a background to this because they played a little clip for Starlink, which is a kind of cute little space fighting game of some description. But they're introducing Star Fox. Remember Star Fox?
Yeah.
Nintendo?
Yeah.
So Star Fox is a playable character in that game, but only for the Switch.
Huh?
So here is Yves Guillemot introducing someone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Miyamoto. Hello, how are you? So I know you were coming today, so I came with a gift. You know, it's the first prototype of the vessel that we such so. Do you like it?
Say you like it.
Très bien. I love Mr. Miyamoto. Okay, so Mr. Miyamoto, he's almost like a godlike figure.
Yes.
These days, he created Mario.
Yes.
He created Star Fox, obviously.
Yeah.
What was another big one? All the good Nintendo stuff from the 90s, 80s, and 90s. But yeah, he's sort of goes around the world just accepting rewards or awards or something like that.
I mean, he's still got the best sort of 80s hair ever and is still rocking it. I mean, he's 65 years old.
Yeah, I think he's got the most cartoonish face. Like when he smiles, like, you know, that typical Asian caricature. Like he's got that down pat.
Yeah, I mean, he reminds me, you know, obviously he created Zelda and Donkey Kong and everything. So he's massive.
Yeah, he is a god. Another game as part of Ubisoft was Beyond Good and Evil 2. Now, I didn't get to play the first one, but this is actually a prequel to that series. Do you know much about Good and Evil?
No, not much.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of space pirates, and there is a, you know, on this ship there's a pig.
Oh wait, pig. I saw the trailer for it. But I think you have to play the first one for it to make sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I think the second one's probably a couple of years away. And the trailer looked amazing, like very cinematic. Like when they say cinematic trailer, this was like almost a trailer for a movie. I thought very polished. The humans looked very realistic. Anyway, the big thing about this is that Joseph Gordon-Levitt of Third Rock from the Sun.
Yep. Inception.
A bunch of other movies. Inceptions, of course. All the Chris Nolan movies. I think he's in every single one of them. He came out and he introduced his concept, his company called Hit Record, where it's an online community to collaborate and create, you know, digital assets of some sort. So it could be actually even a song or a short video or like a commercial, but you could also come together to create artwork, for example. So the idea was for this game, Beyond Good and Evil 2, they would use this as a platform for the community to come up with artwork for this, you know, very expansive world. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. But the very next day, there was a bit of a backlash because, you know, people are saying, "Hey, so if you're gonna do work for this company, are they gonna get paid? You know, is this part of speculative work where, you know, have you heard that term before? Like it's basically you do the work and then you don't get paid until
it gets big.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. So yeah, there was a bit of a backlash there, and no one really knows what Hit Record actually does. There's a bit of confusion. I'm gonna play a clip where he was interviewed later in the day, just talking about that, you know, the creative process.
I think it makes so much sense because it seems that the way that video games are evolving, it's about these increasingly open worlds, where part of the fun is not just going on a linear journey, but getting to explore in any direction. And if you're going to populate those worlds with you know, a rich texture, it makes sense that the people who are playing the game would be able to get involved in the creative process of making the game.
Yes, I don't really get the logic there where he says the people who plays a game should feel like they create the world as well. Like that doesn't really make sense. But anyway, this was an interesting angle to the whole thing where it's never been done before like this, where a big AAA studio would say, hey, do some work for us and we'll see if we can get it into the game.
So they're crowdsourcing a game instead of money. They're taking in design work.
That is the general gist of the criticism. Yes.
Right.
I mean, in the spirit of, well, like this game is really exciting and like I would be just honored to be on the game and I'll happily do the work for free sort of thing. Maybe some people would do that. I think I get it, but yeah, like maybe if an indie company did it, this makes more sense. If it's a AAA studio, maybe not so much.
Yeah. Wow, 41 minutes in, and we still have a fair bit to go.
Oh my god! Okay, what have you got next?
We've got. Well, I'm looking. I think we can. I've got a couple of clips that we can skip, but only because there's so much content coming out of E3.
Right. The other, EA was another showcase. EA is always there every year. They do all the big sports names, Madden, NBA. What else?
FIFA.
Oh yeah, FIFA.
I'm worried about EA a little bit. I know you're gonna have a good clip on some of the more exciting stuff, but the FIFAs, the Maddens, the Battlefronts, the Star Wars games, they're all a bit flat. Did you get to see some of the trailers? I just wasn't blown away, considering the issues with Battlefront 2, where unlike PUBG and Fortnite, where you pay to sort of get clothes and stuff. In Battlefront 2, you could have paid to get bigger and better guns, and people were just paying to win, and then that destroyed the game for a lot of people. Are you feeling the same way about EA and some of these big titles?
I mean, in terms of the sports titles, I think the exciting thing about Madden is that it's coming to the PC finally. I think that's a good move for them. And I'll always get those sports titles. I think it'll be Madden this year, but last year it was the NBA one. What's it called again?
Not 2K, 18?
Yes, 2K. Sorry. I
always get confused. That by 2K?
That's true. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Total confusion. But I did like the Anthem, the new Anthem stuff that came out, which is I think when it was first released or some of the trailers, people thought it was this is another Destiny. But they showed a little bit more and bit more of the gameplay, and it is getting a bit more better reaction. I do have a clip by. Actually, this is one of these reaction people.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a listen. Quick one.
Some of the stuff they were talking about too, with just the way the game plays out, they were talking about this as a contagious open world or something like that is how they described it, and like the look of the different creatures and the fact that there are like these storms and things.
Yeah.
The environment looks beautiful and amazing, and yet like the creatures and the action parts look really intense.
This looks like if Neil Blomkamp made the movie Annihilation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that little bit at the end there. Not that I've seen Annihilation just yet, but I can kind of imagine what that is. And that was by the Real Rejects, Real as in REEL. And they always do reactions of movie trailers, but in this case, they did games.
Which they're branching out. They're branching out.
Yeah, but it goes to show how cinematic some of these trailers are, right? Yeah, so that's about all I was excited for EA. There's one more studio. Square Enix, yeah, Square Enix. I think the only thing I want to mention here is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Well, it's a series. It's a franchise that's been going on for a while. It joins Final Fantasy with Disney characters, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and the storyline's kind of crazy and not really followable. But yeah, imagine these Final Fantasy characters. I can't remember their names, but they traveled the world with
Cloud,
Donald, Duck, and Goofy. Right? I think
of course.
Yeah, there's 4 of them walking around. But what they showcased with this little review or preview was that they're going to feature scenes from Big Hero 6, Toy Story, like Andy's room in Toy Story, Monsters Inc., the Kingdom of Arendelle in Frozen, parts from Pirates of the Caribbean. So it's all over the place, but these are all Disney sort of properties, and I think I really would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun for the kids. It'll be great marketing, sell more toys. Yay for everyone.
And coming to the Xbox, so another bonus for me there. But that's it. That's all I've got, man.
I think that's all we can do, to be honest. We're at 45 minutes now. We could almost do a part 2, but we won't, I think, only because we're not I mean, we like following the games, we like following E3 and seeing what's coming out. We're not mad enough for a gamer to play a lot of these games, but we appreciate where the companies are going with a lot of this, the direction they're taking. There are a couple of controversies that came out of E3, but you know what, I think I'm happy to park it there. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely for E3. I've got some couple of other news if you
Yeah,
want.
let's go through that.
Yes. So Amazon Prime. It's in Australia.
Yeah, well, or is it?
Oh, really?
I mean, it is, but it's very different to the US one.
Oh, okay. So not as feature rich.
I think one of the standouts is, I mean, in the US you get same day delivery. I don't think you can get that in Australia. It's a 2-day delivery.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. Yes. I mean, that's guaranteed 2 days, so it might be same day.
Yeah, might be.
It's a lot cheaper though, right? Because you can get a $6.99 a month or $4.99 if you sign up before January next year, or you can go the $59 a year option, which I think I'll probably end up doing.
Yeah, that's right in the middle. It ends up as $5 a month.
Oh,
wait, no,
Yeah.
5. Wait, no, it's the same as signing up for 31st of January. Sorry.
is it okay?
Yeah,
there
it's
you go.
5.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, ruined it for you.
So I did another one of those. Yeah, it's a bit sketchy in terms of like how you're going to get international items. They're not very clear on how that's going to happen.
So that's the thing that confuses me, because of the whole GST issue that we have in Australia, where items above $1,000 are going to get taxed, and they want the retailers to be responsible for collecting this tax, being Amazon. Hasn't Amazon said that they're going to block the .com site from all AU traffic?
I don't think they're going to block it. They've used this word eligible. So eligible items in inverted commas. So like that could mean anything. So they'll probably block you as you try to check out, maybe depending on what it is. And I'm sure they've got the means to work out whether something's taxed in a certain way or not. So January 2019, $4.99. Yeah, I think I'll do it. I mean, like, I haven't really bought anything through Amazon for a long,
I think I've bought
time.
more stuff on Amazon than you have.
Yeah.
But is there anything on Amazon Prime Video that you're looking forward to?
I mean, I think if we're talking about things like everyday, even groceries, the everyday stuff, if I use Amazon a lot more like the Americans do, it's definitely going to be worth it. I happen to live above an Aldi right now, so that would be the ultimate laziness to order through Amazon Prime rather than walking downstairs.
And also, I think that's not being an Amazon Prime user is the only thing stopping me from not getting a Alexa. Because what's the point, right? I can't access the videos, I can't access anything. So this might push people in Australia to get the Alexa, because they can do all the cool stuff like buy me some toilet paper.
Yeah, it is. So how does it compare to American pricing? Is it like half the?
Well, let's find out. Let me see. Ooh. Amazon Prime US. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime 1 year. Let's see if it's me. What it says here, the AFR is the AU prices are half that of the US.
Yeah, that's what I thought I read. Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's a good deal.
Yeah. So I mean, what's not uncertain is that Amazon really know what they're doing, even in Australia. They're gonna be testing, and they're gonna be doing all sorts of things, crazy things. I think in the next 6 months to reel in the audience. Netflix came here and pretty much dominated straight away in Australia. Like that was crazy, right? Like, remember like talking about Netflix coming to Australia, and like 3 months later, like every single person's on it. So I don't know if it's going to be as fast as that, but I think at least in the next 12 months, they'll be doing new deals. They'll be, I don't know, like maybe they'll buy Aldi. That would be.
You wish.
Yeah. I got one more quick story. Just because I've got this, I have to play this.
Yeah, play it.
Elon Musk has the green light to build a high-speed underground transportation route to Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Musk said yesterday his Boring Company won the bid to build a system using electric vehicles to carry passengers through tunnels. He predicted it would be ready within 3 years. Chicago's Mayor Rahm Emanuel calls it the fast lane to the city's future. Dean Reynolds spoke to Musk and Emanuel about the plan that promises to outpace Chicago's famous L trains.
Mr. Musk, why? Why do you do this?
It seems like we've been stuck in traffic for decades, I don't know, better part of a century.
And there's a lot of skepticism that this can be done at all.
Look, there were doubters about putting a man on the moon. On anything that's new, there will be doubters.
So that's CBS and Elon Musk and the mayor of Chicago talking about how they're going to get it done. So yeah, Musk is like, yeah, well, we've been stuck in traffic for 100 years, so why not? And Chicago's like all in on this.
Yeah, and you know what? Remember he built the biggest battery in Australia, and he managed to do that within, I think it was 3 months or 6 months or something. And if he didn't do it, he would have offered to pay for the entire thing. So I'm fully behind Mr. Musk and him doing this. I might link to a couple of stories as well around, unfortunately, Tesla isn't doing well and they've had to sort of let go of a few people.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of these employees came out and said, you know what, it's okay. We know he has to lose something to sort of, fulfill his dream and his dream for humanity. And they're cool with that, which is unheard of.
Yeah. But I mean, this is the power of Musk. I think this is a realization of that because, the Boring Company just came out from, I don't know, he woke up one morning and thought, hey, let's start digging holes and let's start talking about it. And he set up a company. And, after this deal, if he is successful, it's going to be valued at billions of dollars. Some people are saying $16 billion.
Wow.
Yeah. But just on that, the express loop from Chicago O'Hare Airport, it's going to go 150 miles per hour. That's roughly 12 minutes to the CBD, which would be kind of cool. Because I have been on that, I guess I took the slow train, the L train, which takes over an hour.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and the traffic in Chicago is crazy as well. So, very ambitious again. Like that, he's saying that we can start digging in the next 3 months. Have people riding this thing in 3 to 4 years, which is 18 miles of digging. Like I don't know, like who does that? Who does that?
Hey, doesn't matter. He's got a flamethrower.
Yes, that's how he's gonna do it.
It's for all the rats, man. On that note about rats, and that's the end of the show. If you want to check out other sort of show notes and all the good things that we have, don't forget to check out the website at thelazycouch.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter at The Lazy Couch Podcast. You can also email us old school, thelazycouchpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to leave a comment on iTunes. My name is Calvin Lee, and this is Calv out.
And Jeff out.
And I've found an outro.
Oh, yeah?
As I was searching for Miyamoto, there was this 50-second video about him saying hello to Australia.
But isn't it in Japanese? I think I saw that.
No.
Oh, it's not?
So I'm gonna do a risky one. I'm gonna play a video I haven't seen yet live. So let's see what happens. On to you, Mr. Miyamoto.
Hello. Good day, Australia and New Zealand. To everybody who enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey, your beauty, choice bro. さあね、どれぐらいファーム見つかりましたか？これからもね、新しいお宝シーンとか、新しい衣装をどんどん追加していくので。
I'll link to that. It's on Twitter.
So wait, so Australia, New Zealand. Australia is you beauty, and New Zealand is choice pro.
Oh, that made my night.